We are back with Nerds That Know. Hope you guys enjoyed the little interlude of extra episode of My Brother's an Idiot with the Goons last night. Uh, so tonight we have Galdagoon and Tank here with me. Also, over off to the side, we have Sandy Dog. She may end up on camera because we're sitting on the couch tonight instead of um, at the bar top where she can't reach the computer. So who knows what's going to happen. But a lot of stuff has been going on. There's a lot of news going out there, a lot of shows that are either starting or ending, movies coming out. So we're going to talk about all of those things. Before we get started, Tank, how's everything? Are the girls ready for their nightly appearance on the show?
Probably they are freshly showered and making a lot of noise in the living room.
Thought I heard some ambient going on back there.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So the thing that we want to talk about the most, I know, because at family dinner on Sunday, this was the big topic, and that is Loki. Loki season 2 finale was last week, right? Last week before last.
It
Okay,
was last week, yeah.
thank you. Mark and I have been a few episodes behind, so we finished it yesterday, just so we would be prepared. Actually, in all fairness, I finished the first 5 episodes and then fell asleep, but Mark finished the entire thing. And I've read a lot of the articles and stuff, and I've watched snippets, so I know what happens, but I didn't watch what happens. So you had a whole thought about how the way that the season wrapped up just goes to reinforce your whole theory that Loki is actually the Christian god.
Yeah, so this helps reinforce my theory that Loki is in fact the only god, because he's the god that controls the entire universe and he's the one with it in his hands in this. There's some other things that go into that, but this did not really dissuade my opinion from that. We're basically watching Loki propaganda at this point. Disney is in on it. But no, it was really good. It wrapped up really well. Hard to think that they are actually going to go any further with any of this storyline. They obviously could and probably are going to, just because he's in a place where they can get to him and get him out of fairly easily with some pretty good plot twists. But they closed out the characters going on pretty well too. And Frank had mentioned that this wasn't really a Loki story until the very end when we've talked previously. I really enjoyed all the characters in this and their connection to Norse mythology. Every single one of them has some sort of backstory within the Norse mythology itself. So they really kept true to the Loki thing. OB, the guy short round basically, is Ouroboros and Mobius and Sylvia. They're all based on characters from Norse mythology. So it was just very cool how they kind of stuck with that and wrapped up the story nicely. But they can do some things if they wanted to get their way out of it and bring Loki back.
Potentially. I don't think they're going. I think they're going to bring him back one more time. Potentially. And I think it's just going to be the reconciliation. Because it's going to be, probably God of Gods Thor, King Thor eventually.
Yeah.
And he'll be seeking the Yggdrasil tree, and they'll find Loki holding the universe together, and that'll be their final moment together, kind of a thing. But I think, as of right now, I think Loki is being written out of the MCU, especially with the comments that he did make. Like, he wrapped up his story. I think this was that goodbye to Tom Hiddleston as Loki.
I don't think it's goodbye to him. I think it is him like putting on his jacket to walk out the door, but he's not gone yet.
Yeah, like I said, I think there's gonna be one more appearance, probably.
Comes back in Thor 5.
And when we what was it the last episode, 2 episodes ago, we talked about the fact that Marvel is not seeing the numbers that they used to, and have been, kicking around the idea of bringing back some of the original Avengers, and bringing back Chris Hemsworth. I think would be, really easy to do now. Technically, he never left the MCU. His character hasn't had like the big, finale for himself, the way, Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, the way that all of those people have had. So there's actually talk about Thor 5. Taika Waititi has said he will not be involved with that. He has too many other things going on right now, but that he thinks that it should happen, that it will happen. And apparently working with Chris Hemsworth is a beautiful and wonderful thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think there is going to be another Thor movie some point, probably not too far in the future, I'm assuming, because they might want to, during the Secret Wars thing, I think he's going to have to come up when they get to that point, because we know he's still around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do think we're going to see the TVA again, though. I think that is going to play a role at some point, and that might be getting its own series potentially, or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a TVA story continuing out of Loki.
I'd be
I
all
would
right
watch
with
that.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's going to be them working on correcting the universe and everything that's, and what we know is happening now, and a lot of things happening simultaneously with all the, the stuff with Doctor Strange's issues and what he caused, and what Scarlet Witch did, and what we saw with Loki and what happened there. Like, there's a lot of big, huge multiverse stories that are going to need to be played with a little bit here. So,
And not to mention, Quantumania didn't really close any doors.
no, they just killed one of the Kangs, basically.
Yeah, right. One of the millions and billions of Kangs.
Yeah.
No, that actually takes us over into What If, which starts next month. Season 2 of What If. I would say it's like a Hanukkah thing, because they're doing for 9 nights, but the final night is Christmas. So, but Disney Plus has decided to give us an episode a day for season 2 What If. They are going to be leaning into the holiday theme just because of when it's coming out, or it's coming out because they're leaning into the holiday theme. But I feel like we could see a lot of things, even if they do tie the TVA back into it, to What If, of, what happens if, this variant took over, or whatever, that branch got pruned, or
what if Loki was actually Owen Wilson? Have a Owen
That'd
Wilson
be interesting.
story.
Yeah.
No, we do know that we're going to get Shang-Chi and from Legend of the Ten Rings is coming back in What If. Thanos is supposed to have an appearance in What If, which has me very, intrigued. Like, what if he's not a mass murdering fuckhead?
Well, that's kind of what they did in the first season, is he did kind of get a
redemption
thing with T'Challa as Star-Lord, kind of helping him out.
Yeah. And apparently we'll see some more of Captain Carter, which I think she's fantastic, so I'm all for it.
Not to mention the greatest character that's ever happened in the multiverse, Strange Supreme. Strange Supreme is so good.
Still stuck in that gem somewhere.
I think the interesting note here is I'm not sure if streaming services, I know this is a fairly new process, but I don't think we've seen one of them where they don't release an episode a week or all at the same time. We've seen like 6 episodes, wait 6 months, 6 episodes. We've seen 1 a week. But this is new. Everyone's at home anyways. We're all home for the holidays. people are off on fall break or winter break at that time. We're going to get 9 episodes, so one per day. It's going to be appointment television for those people who care about it. I think this is an interesting testing ground for Disney going forward.
Yeah, to test their ability to retain. See, and that's I think Loki potentially retained a decent amount of people, just because that story ended up being told so well. So hopefully they kind of, you know, continue with that, I guess.
Well,
What If was interesting enough the first season, so they can do some cool stuff with it.
yeah, we got one of our nephews. We got Peanut one of the What If figures, Funko Pops, for Christmas last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was the T'Challa as Star-Lord.
Yeah, and those characters are so interesting, and they're easily marketable when you can mix up, alias and superhero identity so readily, and we'll see what happens and how they play with it further. The zombie episode was fun. It's all marketable stuff, so see how they do with it.
And it's all multiversal canon, which makes it, you can just say like, well, this happened in a different universe.
Right, yeah. Which is what comic books usually do anyways.
Unfortunately killed one of the Peggy Carters, so
yeah, she's dead.
Only one of her is dead. Well, I'm curious to see if the fact that they're releasing an episode each night for those 9 days, if that style of release is going to carry over into next year when the combination app of Disney Plus and Hulu as one streaming service releases.
Christ, that's happening.
So that's going to come out and be available in March of next year. And so maybe they're just kind of testing the waters with this, this style of release.
Yeah, maybe.
I am so happy that Disney Plus is taking the controls away from Hulu. There are some people that really enjoy Hulu. I have no problem. It's just like any other app, but man, it has so many issues. Like just with the way that they overlay ads, it's just like Crunchyroll. The ad breaks are never on the right times. You get like the ad break and then like 30 seconds into the next part where we're supposed to get, the next part, that's when the ad starts. It's like, what the fuck? And there's not an easy way to transition between ad-free and, shows without ads and shows with ads. It's not a very user-friendly app.
I think my problem with that is like, it'll be in the middle of a song, for example, and it'll cut off before like the last like 4 bars.
Yeah.
To start the ad. And then, after your 90 seconds or, 10 minutes of ads, then the rest of the song finishes.
You're making multiple billions of dollars doing this. You can pay somebody to watch the show and set a time mark where they can put an ad. And they just don't do it right.
And with most of the shows, they're already been run on cable.
Right.
They have built-in ad breaks already.
Right, but they're still wrong. When they throw the ad breaks in, it's at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So like you said, they've got the ad breaks there.
Yeah.
You just have to go back and put them in at the right moment instead of wherever the fuck you want to.
And then we'll get to see, whether or not they bring in ESPN, because right now you can get that as a bundle. I know I personally enjoyed watching the football game played in Andy's room with all of the Toy Story characters. So I think it would be fabulous if, they partner a little bit more on the sporting events. When Slinky is the
yard markers.
Thank you. He's the guy on the sidelines. That is fantastic, and it makes sense. All right.
Well, and Andy's room is now somewhere where you can actually play football. We established this last night. That's a real place. It's Disney Can.
This is all true. All right. So sticking with Marvel and What If and Loki, the Marvels movie came out recently, and it's not doing badly at the box office. It actually did take you know first place in money coming in over this past weekend. However, these are some of the lower numbers that Marvel has seen with box office. Um, but Tank, you saw the movie.
Yes, it did.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I think this movie's getting shit on from previous endeavors potentially playing a role. Um, and just this weird hatred for Brie Larson apparently. Um, but I think they told a fun popcorn kind of movie story. Like it's not as in depth as some of the Marvel stuff has been, but they did a good job kind of combining these characters and giving them all agency and perspective in the story, and then building a decent story out of it that you can kind of move forward and then still, have some reconciliation of what happened before. So I enjoyed it. I think it's worth a watch, and I think the movie just, God, there's so much ill will towards Disney and towards Captain Marvel as a character that I think that's what killed it, unfortunately.
I like that this is a very strong female power movie. I know we had that a little bit with Black Widow, but this is coming from completely different backgrounds. These three main characters, coming together, working as a team. Yahoo girl power, and I think that Miss Marvel didn't have the response or the reaction or following when that first came out on Disney Plus, and so that's playing into this as well. It took me a couple of episodes to even get into Miss Marvel, so I kind of understand that. But this is definitely one that I want to see, and apparently is doing not bad in the box office, but nobody's beating Taylor Swift.
It did beat Taylor Swift for the weekend, but
Yeah.
Taylor Swift still runs the world.
Well, yeah, and it made a not good amount for a Marvel movie because I
Mm-hmm.
think it barely cleared 120 global, something like that.
110.
110 global, which is, considering the budget was over 200, that's pretty rough. I'm hoping this is going to be a word of mouth movie that once people hear, that it's actually a pretty decent story and the characters aren't as flat as they were in the first Captain Marvel movie, I guess. Um, and yeah, Miss Marvel is so fun. Monica and um, Captain Marvel's relationship is interesting, and they kind of give you a lot more background as to what actually happened there and everything. So it's a good story.
Nice.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
The other movie that is actually coming out this weekend, it opens tomorrow, which is November 16th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically it opens on Friday, but there's the Thursday night showings for anything that opens on Friday, which is weird, but I digress. And that is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, The Hunger Games prequel. Now, for those of you who've read the books, you already know what's going to happen because this is a series that actually sticks pretty close to the books. Um, but you have the whole backstory of President Snow, who he is, why he is, all of that, and really just kind of seeing what's so important about the Hunger Games to the Capitol and everything. Now, obviously, this isn't going back the 75 years to the first quarter quell, first Hunger Games, because in the last movie we saw the quarter quell and whatever. But this is pulling the main character who is in the games is also from District 12, right? Which kind of takes you full circle with Katniss and Snow's relationship with her. And so that comes out this weekend.
I'm super excited about that. I mean, I did not read the books, and I'll be honest, when the movies came out, it wasn't really something I was into because it was, people like, my mom, and then other people like the Hunger Games, and at the time, I'm just going, that just doesn't seem compelling to me. Um, I made a mistake when I said that to myself because watching all of those movies, they're just fun to watch. You get all the range of emotions like basically every half hour. From you get a couple of laughs, but most of the time it's either you're on the edge of your seat with just anticipation and just hoping that everything goes well, and you're sad, like beyond sad, and you're exacerbated. It's just it's really moving story, and they tell it so well in cinema that I'm hoping this continues with that trend.
Well, I think that they did really well with the telling of the story for the movies that are already out. And unlike when Harry Potter, they split the final book into 2 films, which I was a little bit pissed about because they'd already taken books that were longer and condensed them into 1 film. When they did the split for um, the final book of the Hunger Games,
The ones with the
Mockingjay,
yeah, Mockingjay Part 1 and 2.
Yeah, that actually made sense because it helped to tell the story and really give you more detail. So I think this is going to be a good deal. I'm excited. This budget for the film was 100 million. So we'll see how they do on their first weekend, if they can make back most, if not all of that, unlike the way the Marvels film did with their budget. Let's see. Here we go. Here's a movie that's coming out next year that my husband is ridiculously excited for, and I will not watch it, but I will support the fact that he wants to watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
Frank, have you seen the new Mask?
No, I have not actually.
Have you? Okay, so the same people that brought you Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey Part 1 are making a sequel. It's the exact same people. The same guy who directed and wrote the first one is getting a chance at the second one. Instead of having $20 billion or $20 million or whatever to spend, they're giving him $100 million budget for this film. So there's a couple of pictures of the Mask and like other things that are changing. It looks so, and they're specifically going to make it over the top. Like the first one was just kind of a bloodbath. This one is going to be way worse.
Yeah. So, like Mark was saying, the budget has more than tripled for the sequel. The director actually is quoted as saying, the look for Winnie the Pooh in the first film, the whole monster cost about $750, right? It was stuff that they bought on Amazon, from like the shop down the street, right? And whatever kind of crap that they could just pull together to make it work. And if you'll remember the images from the first Blood and Honey, I can't believe that I know this, right? It was super derpy, right?
It looks so derpy.
It was like Five Nights at Freddy's, but not supposed to be that kind of animatronic. It was supposed to actually be a character that we knew and loved. This one looks fucking freaky.
Did you see it, Tank?
Yeah, I did. I'm
It's
getting
terrifying.
like weird, like Candyman vibes from the Mask.
Yeah. So the basic storyline for this one is, Pooh and Piglet are still bloodthirsty murderers, but they're leaving the 100-acre woods because Christopher Robin, has gone away, and they're mad. So they're now going into his village, into his town, and creating havoc. We're going to see a lot more characters from the 100 Acre Woods. Christopher Robin himself will be in this film. This is definitely a British style. This is an independent film. I really feel like a lot of the stuff that comes out of the UK, it's very niche, and this is definitely one of those things. It's a children's book slasher film.
It has such potential, man. It has such potential. The first one when we saw the masks, I was so let down because I was just like, they could have done so well. And I watched part of it, and it was just really, it was okay, for what they had to work with. But oh my god, just it's so campy and stuff. I expect more blood, more guts, less, probably some, maybe a digital copy of Winnie the Pooh that they can overlay on him.
I'm just hoping they do something with the heffalumps and woozles.
Oh.
I'm assuming it's going to be kill them, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Or they're actually going to recognize that it's just an acid trip.
Maybe the heffalumps and woozles come and they go through the heffalumps and woozles dimension to get to Pleasantville. Maybe that's how they make the leap from the 100 Acre Woods to real life, is through the heffalumps and woozles portal.
The heffalumps and woozles is currently my ringtone. So I have that really in my head right now. But everybody knows that whole scene is just Pooh on an acid trip.
Tigger came over, gave him a couple hits, told him a horror story, and then it started raining.
Oh, God.
Did you ever see that one, Frank? It's from like 1971. There's like
I never saw Tigger give Winnie acid. No, didn't catch that one.
So it's Winnie the Pooh, so there's like several stories in the movie. It's the one where the first Pooh gets stuck in the tree, and that's after he goes and attacks the fucking bees.
And he sings, "I'm just a little black rain cloud."
Yeah, he's stealing from the bees by pretending to be a rain cloud. And then he's hanging out at his house one night, and Tigger shows up, who's on speed, gives him a couple hits of acid. Winnie the Pooh goes to sleep and dreams of heffalumps and woozles, and it's like, it's elephants and weasels, but it's like nightmarish. I'll find it on YouTube and send you the clip. It was nightmarish then, and I hope that they use it in this movie.
Okay, so when you say acid, what did he actually give him?
Just like,
they just talked, and then Pooh ate a little bit of honey, and then he went to sleep.
Oh, so he slipped some liquid LSD into the
honey.
That's what
we're saying. All right, so while Mark is looking up heffalumps and woozles, and we'll link that video in the description, just because why the hell not? For those of you who did not have heffalumps and woozles as part of your childhood, I'm not sure if I'm envious or you missed out. Turn it down, love. All right. The movie that's coming out next year that I'm really excited about, and that is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. This is the sequel to Afterlife. And we talked about Afterlife on this show when it came out. And I think the general consensus was we all really enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
It has Paul Rudd, and that right there will make me want to see a movie. But this looks so good. Right? You have all of the original Ghostbusters are in this. Well, other than
the dead one,
because he's dead.
Yeah.
But still, they're all in this. They're fighting the big bad, which is like a frost monster.
It seems to be fear itself is kind of the perspective that they're fighting fear, which has taken a demonic form that freezes things.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
What's the line? And the last thing you see is your tear ducts freezing over. That just, it's creepy.
It's terrifying.
And I really
Awesome.
liked it. Plus, the whole cast from the previous movie is coming back. Like, we're not having to replace anybody, which is interesting because the one kid from Stranger Things, and I cannot remember.
Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah.
The most metal name ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's grown up so much. Like, I don't know how Stranger Things is going, but we don't see that until next year anyway.
As far as I know, they haven't even filmed it yet, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, because none of them want to do it anymore.
Well, that's because they're all old. They can't play, 14-year-olds anymore.
Well, and one of the main stars has moved on, and they're starting to promote her new story on Netflix.
Right.
So
Yeah. So, anyways, that one looks really good. If we're sticking with Netflix, we saw the preview for Rebel Moon. It was on TV this weekend when we were watching the footballs. And I'm really excited about this. It looks super cool. It is going to be in theaters for like a week before it comes out on streaming on Netflix.
When that started, we not everything can stop a conversation in the the McPoffle household.
Yeah, almost nothing actually.
Yeah, and we all stopped and turned around and watched the preview in awe because none of us knew exactly what was going on, but it was all visually so cool looking. We were all just like, I don't know what that was, but every single shot looked fucking awesome. It was like just epic, big things, explosions, like
Zack Snyder.
Yeah, dragons and spaceships and fucking like whatever the fuck you want, unicorns and rainbows and whatever the fuck. It was all in this like minute and a half that we all just stopped and watched the television. We're all just like, what the fuck did we just watch?
My original thought was, oh, this has to be based on like a video game because of all of the graphics, but it's not. This says Zack Snyder says he took a little bit of inspiration from video games, inspiration from Star Wars, inspiration from music videos, and like all of this, and put this whole thing together. And I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. And so actually, oh no, it comes out in December. I was thinking it came out in January, but no, it'll be out next month.
Yep, December 15th in theaters and December 22nd on Netflix.
Perfect.
So,
and the sequel is already apparently done.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's fucking awesome.
And that's coming out
This is like part 1, right?
Yep.
Rebel Moon part 1.
Yep. And then part 2. Part 1, it looks like it's called A Child of Fire.
Yeah.
And part 2 is The Scar Giver. And that comes out in April, apparently.
If King Goon was here, he would say something about this being the Zack Snyder Star Wars story. So he took a lot of inspiration and tried to make a Star Wars story, but apparently it didn't work out for him or something. I don't know what the story is behind that, but he said something about that in our chat. So
he took a lot of inspiration from a lot of places, it looks like, and just kind of,
Yeah, and he even says all that.
Okay.
Like, if you look at interviews and articles and stuff, plus Zack Snyder's hands are all over this. He's the director, the cinematographer, producer, wrote the screenplay. Like,
it just goes to show you how bad DC fucked Snyder over when they released the original version of Justice League.
Oh, you saw that when we saw the actual Snyder cut. Like, that was so much better. It was a lot longer, but it was so much better.
Destroyed that movie.
Dude, did I ever tell you? Obviously the Snyder cut way better, but I was watching that when I was living with some roommates, and one of the girls that I was living with at the time was like, "Oh, I'll watch this movie with you." She sits down. That was her first ever superhero film. And she's
His
just like, are they
4
all
and a
this
half hour
long?
I know who
It
you're
was like,
talking
it was
about.
like,
And
I wish they were.
it doesn't help that she's got like a hyper big dose of, ADD as well. She can't sit through a
Let me
meal.
just tell you, like that room that we were in, because we were in the basement theater room at our house, got so clean while we were watching that film. Because she stayed in that room for the entire movie, but did about 500 other things. Yeah, so
It
all right.
looks really interesting. Like we all stopped and just like marveled at the preview, and that doesn't really happen much. Like you can't really like we'll have moments of silence and stuff, but we never hyper focus on one thing like that. And we were just all just like, "What the fuck is this?"
Typically, the moments of silence are when everybody is eating.
Yeah,
Even then.
yeah.
All right. So we've talked about the sequel for Rebel Moon is already done filming. The sequel to Invincible so we have season 2 came out, and oh my god, we've watched the first 2 episodes.
We haven't got all the way through the second episode.
Yeah, but just the opening of the first episode. Holy shit.
I was just like, what the fuck am I watching? And Lisa, I kept saying it, and she's just like, I don't know. It's like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they make sense of it a little bit, but holy shit, how it started. You're the first like 10 minutes, you're like, what the fuck is happening? What happened between the seasons? What is going on?
The very end of that, when he breaks her neck.
Hmm.
Oh my god! I was like, "What the fuck is
Just
this?"
paralyzed her.
And she blurts out, "She's like, well, that's why she only got one season."
That is what I said. So you will hear on this show, Tank and myself, King Goon, and other guests that we've had on here will all say, the book was better. You have to read the book, stick to the source material, whatever. Almost never hear that coming from Goldagoon.
I don't know how to read.
This is also true. This is why you got the Learn How to Read Paw Patrol books for your 40th birthday.
I did. Several of them.
But you figured them out yet?
No, I actually haven't even read them.
Wouldn't have expected anything different.
For Christmas last year,
it's hilarious irony.
I got him the compilation of the first series of Invincible comics. Right, it's all in one giant like 3-inch thick book.
Yeah,
the compendiums.
Yeah. And he's just like, I never say this, but the book is actually better. Now, albeit it's the comic book, and he's a lot easier to read, like pow and bam, but A, he's read the book, and B, like your take on the dialogue and stuff.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff where I think the thing on the screen is better than what I possibly could have read. Some of the like, I'm struggling to think of some of them now, but this one really, like, the way they do some of the dialogue, it's so, I don't know, trying to be anime, and it's supposed to be a comic book story, that I think you miss the point of some of the things. And so the dialogue I'm just struggling with. I think it's just they didn't translate it well enough from the panel to the screen, in my opinion. I think that the source material is better.
The source material is better, but they do a decent job of kind of, obviously not with the dialogue, because it's very dialogue heavy, but
it's hard.
But with the main points of the story, they do a good job of getting across who Invincible is, who Omni-Man is, and why that matters.
Right. No, the story is beautiful, and it's well written, to begin with. For me, what the struggle is like there's a lot of like,
Stilted dialogue.
yes, that's a great way of putting it. I was trying to figure out a good way of putting it. That's perfect. Like
Yeah.
there's times where everything flows well and it's very well written, and there's time where there's no emotion to it at all. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah,
And
I get it. Comes
so
across flat sometimes when you know that it shouldn't. There should be more urgency to the situation than they're portraying.
yeah, exactly. Or something, like there's just like it just kind of goes like that, super choppy.
Hmm.
Mm, Um, for me, Invincible has a very strong Archer type of vibe to it,
Oh yeah.
which is one of my favorites. Like, I love Archer. I've cosplayed Lana in a couple of different versions. Battle ready Lana, and the white sweater dress with the knee high boots and all of the different things. But uh, this is, I think, has a very similar feel, which is one of the reasons I'm really enjoying it. Plus, you don't get that kind of superhero uh, in most of media. Like Jessica Jones was a little gritty, a little bloody, but not like this.
No, the boys is the only comparable really,
Right.
Yeah.
And
and even
again,
that's
that's
more
also an
about the
Amazon
gross
one.
out. Yeah.
I feel like Prime Video is really just, I don't know, strong enough, brave enough, whatever the right verbiage is.
Rich enough is the word you're looking for.
There you go, rich enough to really take that gamble.
Yeah, when you have $800 billion, you can basically spend it on whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And as it is, I'm going to have to love Amazon for at least a little while longer because they're trying to turn um, the latest book series that uh, I'm reading with my niece and my sister into a TV series. The book series, the Empyrean book series. Book 2 just came out on the 7th of November.
She's already finished it.
I finished it 2 days ago.
Makes sense.
Today is the 13th of November. So, it did not suck, but the third book doesn't come out until next year. And then the author is currently slated to release a book a year for the next 3 years. Because it's supposed to be a 5-part series or 5-part story. And I don't want to freaking wait that long. So if they can get the TV show going, so I can at least rewatch and have that to kind of keep me sated in the meantime, I will love Amazon even more than I already do, which is a lot because Amazon Music has the most streaming Broadway show tunes that you can find on any of the services. So,
I did
They
not
have a
know.
lot.
and I listen to that a lot.
100% of the time that she's not listening to a book or watching a movie or something.
Or, that's not true. I listen to your shit too.
No, I'm just saying it's Amazon Music.
Oh, yes. It
Yeah,
is always
in
Amazon
general.
Music or Audible. Like, Amazon really does power my life.
Sheesh. Tell me how you really feel. I'm just kidding.
I didn't say it is my life. I said it powers my life.
No, but you said I listen to your shit too.
He just caught up with that sentence. Apparently, didn't hear it on the first time around.
We've only been to 3 or 4 metal shows. Now you tell me.
I enjoy them. But let's be honest, those aren't the tickets I would buy.
No, absolutely not.
Although I'm the one fighting for us to go see the show tomorrow night.
Still, In Flames is in town tomorrow night,
Hmm.
but we have appointment stuff to do all weekend, so I don't want to exhaust myself before.
I was gonna say,
Available. Yeah, no, we
It'd be
leave
all
Friday
right.
morning to go down to Santa Fe, and you'll see us doing some short live videos from Meow Wolf, House of Eternal Returns. It'll be Galdagoon, myself, our fabulous Ella, and also Michael, who you have seen or heard if you didn't watch the videos and instead just picked it up on Spotify. Uh, Michael, who's one of the creative team, is actually going to be walking us through the house and pointing out a bunch of little things. And, this connects to that story. And that's why that's important. We've both been, Mark and I have been to it a few times, but really excited to walk through it with Michael.
Yeah.
And for Ella to have this be her first Meow Wolf experience.
That's pretty cool. A guided tour. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Every time we've had a chance to talk to any of the employees who work for this company, I'm just blown away at how knowledgeable they are about all of it and how excited and passionate they are about all of it. Like, even like the people who are, just acting or, the creative people, they're all just so passionate about it. And it's just awesome. So I'm really looking forward to meeting somebody else and having the chance to hear their part of it.
All right. My phone is currently in my lap and it is ringing on vibrate. That was not okay. So
it wasn't on her lap, but it's on her lap. We'll just say that.
It was between my thighs. And I got a little distracted for a moment. And now I'm trying to think of a decent transition to go to Disney movies. But
I think it's about as good as it gets.
I try really hard to make the segues smooth. They're always very choppy, but this one is just like stop, left turn. All right, and so that's where we are now. Live action Disney films have been a big thing for quite a while, and apparently there are a crap ton more that are scheduled to be coming out over the next several years. And the reason I bring this up is Dwayne Johnson has been talking very openly about how excited he is to currently be filming the live action of Moana.
It's The Rock with hair.
Have you seen the light?
Uh-oh. The door is open.
Speaking of Disney movies. Hey, sweetie.
Hey, Mimi.
Hey, are you going to go watch the new Moana movie when it comes out next year?
Moana?
Yeah.
They're making a live action version of it.
Maybe. I like the. If I watch it and I think the cartoon version is better, I'm gonna stick with the cartoon version.
That's fair.
But you're gonna watch it though, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna try it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Well, see, there you go, folks. Straight from the mouths of babes.
The target
She's gonna
audience
try it.
speaks.
But if it sucks, she'll tell you it sucks.
I wanna watch the new Trolls movie.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one.
Don't pull on that, please.
Trolls, the band is back together.
Yeah, which is the reason NSYNC got back together to write a new song, or at least perform a new song.
And the whole group are what's his name, Tyler?
Branch.
Are Branch's brothers. That's
Yeah.
the whole group.
Yeah,
Then
and
there's
they're
another
all the
Poppy.
NSYNC boys.
Hold on.
Then there's another Poppy,
Hold on.
right? There's another Poppy. Like,
My goodness.
Gotta be.
I didn't know Poppy had a sister. I thought she was an only child.
Is that wishful thinking there, Mimi?
That's what I got on that.
Hello, little Peehee. Did you have a good day at school
It's
today?
two types of Poppy.
You
Like
don't
and
have to
subscribe.
yell, baby.
Like and subscribe.
Exactly.
There's two types of
Dude, I need to find that little snippet
Yeah.
and just turn that into a thing on all of
There's
our...
two types of poppies.
You don't have to
A
yell.
poppy name and a poppy seed.
That's
true.
right. There's the poppy troll and there's the poppy seed.
So, which one is it? The name or is it the seed that goes in the muffin?
Name even go in the muffin.
What
She's
goes in
never
a
had a poppy
poppy
thing.
muffin?
She doesn't know that's a thing.
Opioids.
I love you.
All right,
Love you.
Good night.
Love you, squirrel.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.
All right, love you.
Love you. Go. Close the door.
I'm going to say it tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm going to say good night to you.
Close the door.
Oh, that's so good. We asked Matt last night if he ever cuts that part out. He never does. He leaves the
No.
whole thing in.
The girls
great.
are a fabulous interlude in every episode. At this point, I don't know how we would continue on without them.
They're great.
We even take them with us to cons where we get, to go in and interview celebrities and take pictures and, do cosplay contests and such. And the girls will give you their honest opinion of the con and of the child's play area at, what is it called now? Denver Fan Expo.
Yeah.
So it's gone through so many names.
Yeah.
But the girls will give you their opinion. They'll tell you what's what. They do not pull punches. So there you go. All right. Other live action movies that are in production. We have Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now, this one has been getting a lot of flack. And one of the big problems is all of the dwarves in the current version are CGI. And it's pissing off a whole community of people. They're like, we don't get a lot of roles, and you're taking, this character, and they're not even making them super cartoony, but they're making all of the Seven Dwarfs CGI. So
Aren't they reshooting that now?
they are, yeah, that's been pushed. So we'll see what happens with that. Then Moana is set to come out in 2025.
Live action, hey. Hey, I'm all about the animal side.
Do you think Alan Tudyk will still be hey?
I really
Has to
hope
be.
so.
Yes, but I want him as the in a chicken costume.
Oh my god. I hope
I
it's
want
one of
Alan
the
Tudyk
costumes
in
now.
a chicken costume,
You can still
walking around on
completely
a
see his
boat.
face. You can
Yes.
still see his face. It's just got the eyes and the comb and everything, and his face is still right there.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want.
How do you spell that last name?
Udyk.
Udyk, I think.
YK?
Yeah,
Like that?
I think so.
Okay.
All right. Another live action movie, and these are ones that have been announced that they're going to be made, but production has not started quite yet, or at least the release dates haven't been given to us yet. One is Lilo and Stitch, which
That
is
sounds
a favorite
horrifying.
in this house.
Does that not sound horrifying though?
Yes.
Like that sounds like a really bad alien invasion story.
Okay, yes, but I feel like Nani doesn't get enough credit as being like the big sister that's trying so hard, trying to keep their family together, like dealing with all of the stress. I think Nani does not get the love that she needs. And I think that David should be more of what general, movie dudes are. Like, hey, you said no, you don't want to date me. That's chill. I'll just support you as a friend.
No, I don't have an issue with the story. I like Lilo and Stitch.
I
I
know.
have an issue with them turning Stitch into some weird monster on a live action version of the story
Well,
that's going to
maybe
scare
it'll be
children.
more like a Mogwai. Or a gremlin that turns into a Mogwai instead of other way around.
So we're gonna have a 6-armed Mogwai.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That's
I just
blue.
asked an AI to create an image of Alan Tudyk in a chicken costume.
Oh god.
It wouldn't do it, but it wrote me a poem.
About Alan Tudyk in a chicken costume.
He is a rooster with a voice of gold. He is not very smart or bold. He follows Moana on her quest, but he is more of a nuisance than a guest. There are 3 more stanzas of this if you'd like me to go on.
That is rude towards Hey Hey.
I think we will do a separate side video of you reading off
Yeah.
your poem.
We're gonna play some light classical music behind it.
Absolutely. Look for that on our Nerds That Know TikTok very shortly, because that's gonna happen, folks. Okay, another live action that they're getting ready to make is Hercules. This one makes sense.
And
Yeah.
it's Guy Ritchie as director, so that's gonna be wild.
Yeah. And I love Meg. I think that she's fantastic. I like the music in that show. You know, I have actually cosplayed Meg, which is she's fabulous. I'm looking forward to that. Although I'm wondering how they're going to do Pegasus.
It's the same problem they're going to have with Max.
Yeah. All right. Now here are the next couple I have some real issue with.
Yeah.
All right. Bambi live action. All right. First off, there's talk about removing the whole scene in the beginning of the movie where Bambi's mom dies.
So the entire premise of the beginning of the story?
Yes. Right? Plus, it's all animals. And the Lion King live action sucked. Right? It's the same problem I have with these next two. Robin Hood. Right? Now, this is the Robin Hood with the foxes and bears and chickens and bunnies and turtles.
You can't do it.
You can, it's just pointless.
What is every fucking scene going to be like the fucking cantina in Mos Eisley?
I think every scene's going to be like the Jungle Book without a person.
Or
Jesus Christ.
Or are they just going to do a regular Robin Hood human movie and make them all sing the songs?
That already exists in several forms.
Yes, I know, but they don't sing Oodalali.
I think we just figured out our next project. We're going to be remaking Robin Hood.
Another remake of Robin Hood?
Cool.
All right. No, the other one that they're going to be working on, which I also don't understand at all.
I need to use the microphone, please. I need to say something to the internet.
No.
Why have they been making every princess movie into a live action?
Go to bed.
Because they think it'll get more people interested.
And
they want money.
They're running out of ideas.
Showing my love of princess movies. The only one that is decent is the Little Mermaid.
Go to bed.
So while Disney is ruining her love of princess movies, they're also going to be remaking Aristocats as a live action, which is going to follow into the same vein of Lion King, Jungle Book. Now, my name comes from this freaking movie. All right, the whole reason I go by Duchess is because of Aristocats, and if they fuck up my movie, I'm gonna be very angry.
Hang on a minute. Are you guys saying that the Jungle Book live action sucked?
No, I loved that.
No, I'm saying that the Lion King live action sucks.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm just making sure we're separating that because I really liked the Jungle Book remake.
No, I'm saying it's pointless. I don't think it's going to be bad. I think it's pointless.
Okay. We're also looking at getting live action Sword in the Stone, which I'm okay with.
That exists.
I'm very excited to see how they do Madame Mim. And a live action Hunchback, which Josh Gad.
What'd you say, Tank?
It already exists. Before it was a cartoon, it was a real movie.
Wait.
Yes, I know, but before it was anything, it was a book.
I want you to finish that thought you just started because that will be my opinion. I hopefully know what you're going to say, but finish that thought that you had. You mentioned the name and then just stopped short.
Oh yeah, Josh Gad has already signed on for the new Hunchback movie.
I'm gonna watch it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Josh Gad is fucking awesome.
I hope that he's one of the gargoyles.
I think he'd be great as Hunchback.
No, he's such a good supporting character.
He could be every character, and I'd watch it.
he's Olaf.
I know that he's Olaf. He was also the guy,
He's
brother. What's his name in Book of Mormon?
Yeah, he's the original
Arnold.
He's
Arnold.
He's the original Elder Arnold.
You know, he actually has a new play that opened up just a couple months ago, called Gutenberg, and it's a 2-man show. The clips I've seen of it are fantastic. I really hope it comes through to Denver. I don't think we'll see Josh Gad here, but if he ever comes to town, I will stalker camp out by the stage doors.
Yeah, he's pretty talented.
Okay.
Going back to that though, the real quick, we were talking about Hunchback.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my thought that I just had about Hunchback. Never mind. Carry on.
Okay. So, my dear sweet niece was complaining about the live action movies, and she says that they have ruined princess movies. Now, in my hands, I hold a list done by Rotten Tomatoes of the 21 live action Disney remakes ranked, and we're going to start with the worst and work our way up.
Hold on a minute. Does the Hunchback of Notre Dame, is he age specific? Can he be any age?
It depends on which part of the story. If they're retelling the film that came out that still gives people nightmares and, you know, also acknowledges the badness of priests, then yes, he is late teens, early 20s.
Okay. So Wallace Shawn can't be the Hunchback. Inconceivable.
Yeah.
Damn it. Because he'd be great.
He could be the creepy
Grand Zagus next, or Grand Zagus. What's his name?
Zek.
Grand Nagus Zek. Anyway, sorry. Carry on.
All right. So, according to Rotten Tomatoes, the worst of the live action films with a 29% score was Alice Through the Looking Glass. This is the one that has Anne Hathaway, Johnny Depp.
Is that the second one?
Yes, it is.
I disagree with that.
I disagree with that too. The worst one was Dumbo.
Well,
that one was pretty bad too.
Let's see where that one falls on the list. Okay. Next, we have Pinocchio.
That one's really bad.
And that had a 28%.
That one's really bad.
Which version of it are they calling the live action one?
2022.
The most recent one.
The Tom Hanks, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, it wasn't very good actually, which is sad.
All right.
It's fucking awful.
All right. Next, we have 102 Dalmatians.
That barely counts, I think, but okay.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement. That's a bad movie, I guess.
Okay. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Now, I really enjoyed that film. I also very much enjoyed the sequel. So,
yeah, I enjoyed those stories.
and actually, Mistress of Evil is the second one.
That is the second one, yeah.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed the Maleficent movies. I disagree. Okay. 101 Dalmatians is next.
Are they talking about the
number
Glenn
17.
Close one?
Yeah, the Glenn Close one.
Yeah, from 96.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't very good, so I get that.
I liked Glenn Close, but that movie wasn't good.
So, tangent time. My sophomore year of high school, I was in a melodrama play. It was fantastic, set in the 1920s. I was the villainess of the whole thing. My character's name was Arachnia Web. Like that's how it went. Super, super cheesy. I'm supposed to have this evil laugh for this character. I rewatched Glenn Close laughing in 101 Dalmatians for probably a total of 4 hours over the course of the entire time I was prepping for that role. So that was my inspiration for my evil, villainous, I'm so glad I'm going to destroy lives laughter on stage. Because it was just, it's perfect for that.
Glenn Close being awesome wasn't good enough to save that movie that really just struggled with. They just retold the story dumb.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of these is that it is almost a shot for shot retelling. So
well,
it's
that one they tried to modernize it a little bit and it didn't really work.
No.
The lighting was terrible. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a very dark movie for no reason.
Okay, speaking of shit movies
that are very dark.
Dumbo.
That was horrifying.
That fucking movie was awful.
Not the movie sucked, but the CGI elephant legitimately was horrifying.
Yeah, well, it's Tim Burton, so you have to put that in there.
Yeah, not horrifying in a good way like normal Tim Burton. Horrifying in a what the fuck did you do to make that happen kind of horrifying.
Fair enough.
It's a fine line you walk there, sir.
All right. Next on the list, coming in at number 15, was the Alice in Wonderland from 2010.
Which was over the top, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I enjoy the modern Alice in Wonderlands with Johnny Depp. Helena Bonham Carter is such a good Queen of Hearts.
Yeah.
But really, I'd watch her in anything.
Right.
She's amazing. All right. Let's see. Next on the list, we have The Lion King. This movie should be way further down on the list. The fact that Lion King is listed as number 14 bothers me. It was so bad, I fell asleep in the theater.
That's the one that I think is the epitome of pointless.
Yeah,
that was the same exact story with one additional song, and it was pointless.
And the way that they remixed a couple of the songs really sucked.
Yeah, the remixes were not good. And
it's not live action if none of it is live action. It was almost 100% CGI.
Almost 100%, yeah.
So you can't call that a live action movie.
But it's not animated in the traditional sense.
It's animated in a different way.
It's not live action.
All right.
Animation. That's what CGI is. Sorry to blow everyone's minds. CGI is animation, just presented differently.
I think we just named the podcast Animation in a Different Way.
I like it. Okay. Number 13 is Maleficent from 2014. The consensus, it says on this one, is Angelina Jolie was so magnetic that she outshined everything else in the film, including the special effects. And it became oh my God, look at Angelina Jolie's cheekbones instead of anything else.
That's not wrong.
I enjoyed it, but I've always loved Maleficent as a character. I've always sided with her because, like, the king and the queen are assholes. Even if you go back to, like, the source material of Sleeping Beauty, right? You have, like, the red fairy, who is the Maleficent character, who doesn't get invited because there's only 12 golden plates and she's the 13th fairy. And again, I've cosplayed that. Plus, Maleficent is all purple and green, and that makes me happy. All right. Next on the list is Aladdin. Had a 57%. And as much as I appreciate the way that they did the live action of Aladdin, I'll say the same thing about this that I have about most of the live action Disney movies, is they've already done a live action version it was called Broadway. And they didn't carry over those songs and those themes into the retelling of the films. And also, Aladdin should have been called Princess Jasmine Meets a Dude because it was really her story. You know, the
Also,
live action retelling was much more her story.
well, and it also basically became look at Will Smith as a genie.
Yeah.
Right. It became look at Robin Williams get replaced by Will Smith, who slaps people on the face.
Okay, this was before he
I
did
know.
face slapping in public.
But he did it.
Either way, it wasn't as good as the animated one.
Oh God, no. Nobody can ever replace Robin Williams.
And come to find out, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith were separated for decades.
Yeah, because we all fucking care.
Yeah.
All right. Next, number 11 was Lady and the Tramp. I've honestly not made it through this live action remake.
It was awkward. The CGI was off on the faces of the dogs.
I never really enjoyed Lady and the Tramp, like the original cartoon. There's a couple of bits in it that I like. You know, obviously the song "He's a Tramp," Peggy Lee, fabulous. But like, you know, I've always kind of thought it was irritating. So,
It was, fun for its time, but you're right. It's super campy. The songs aren't that great. I didn't see the remake. I have a tough time with movies specifically about dogs, and I know the story obviously because I grew up with it, but there's always a dog that dies. And so I don't watch those kinds of stories. And so I just was naturally turned off by Lady and the Tramp, even though that doesn't happen in the story.
All right. Number 10 was Peter Pan and Wendy. This is the one that came out this year. It has Jude Law in it. I did enjoy this one.
I have not seen that one.
I think
Worth a
that
watch.
you would enjoy it, and I think that the girls, especially your oldest, would enjoy it.
Okay.
It's worth a watch for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Rotten Tomatoes score of 64%. I liked it.
Is that
I
a
think
combined
that it
score, or
can-
is that critics' audience? What is that anyway? What are those scores?
That's audience.
Okay. That's
I
the more
believe.
important one. Thank you.
Yeah. So critics' consensus, according to Rotten Tomatoes, was the live action did not achieve Neverland Nirvana, but the pensive direction gives this rendition its own magic. And really, the original Peter Pan cartoon is uber racist.
Yeah.
And one of the things I really liked about Peter Pan and Wendy is the Lost Boys weren't all dudes, right? Like the Lost Boys were boys, they were girls. They had special needs. Like there was one of the Lost Boys was a kid with Down syndrome, right? And it shows that anyone can be a part of that group, right? And I think that it's very all inclusive without being so much so. Like Disney sometimes goes overboard with trying to be inclusive and takes it to a point where you're like, okay, was that necessary? But in this, I loved the way everybody can relate to someone in this film.
And the nice part about that one too is yes, it is a retelling of a story, but they do it in such a different way that it becomes its own thing. It's not a shot for shot remake like The Lion King and some of these other where it branched out of that a lot. And so I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right. Next,
worth a watch.
Yeah. Next is The Little Mermaid. This is again the one that came out this year.
God, that was a good movie, actually.
I have actually not watched it yet because I don't want to.
It's very good.
All right. The songs I've heard from it don't really like resonate with me. But again, the play is so much better. So if you tell me to watch it, and Scarlett did say it's her only live action movie that she likes right now. That may change tomorrow, but I will take the reference and recommendation of the 8-year-old to watch the live action Little Mermaid.
No, and I will say, like, kind of to a certain extent, the singing does. They do a little too much flourishing with the singing, I think.
That's
But
what I've noticed.
the story is really good, and the environment that they build is absolutely beautiful. The
All right.
the how they filmed it and everything was fantastic.
Maybe that's one we watch with the volume down.
And Prince Eric isn't a total dingus in this movie.
Who is?
Prince Eric isn't a total dingus.
Well, I mean, Prince Eric is basically just a placeholder. So
That's what I'm saying. Like, this version of it, there's more agency to.
there's a
character.
reason why the mermaid is attracted to him, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, he's not just a doofus with a pretty smile.
All right. Okay. Next on the list, coming in at number 8, was Beauty and the Beast from 2017. This is the one with Emma Watson, Luke Evans, Kevin Kline,
Josh
Gad.
Josh Gad.
You know,
That
I
one's good.
really enjoyed this one.
That was really good.
I think that one's Steph's favorite.
Emma Watson was surprisingly fabulous in this. Plus, it has Audra McDonald. And I love her.
And they pay homage to I can't remember her name, Mrs. Potts.
Angela Lansbury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was really well done. Again, another basic shot for shot retelling, but
not really. Because, like, that whole scene where she's teaching the little girl how to read,
right,
while she has invented this thing, for, like, the donkey to drag around to do her laundry, right? It shows that Belle has that additional creativity and, the way her mind works. And it's a little less Stockholm syndrome-y.
A lot, to be 100% honest, a lot less Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Compared to the animated version.
Mm-hmm. All right. Coming in at number 7 was Christopher Robin.
I cried my eyes out in that movie.
Ewan McGregor did such an incredible job.
I will never watch it again.
He does not like movies that make him do the feels.
Except for the feel good.
I really, as somebody who grew up on Winnie the Pooh stories, and not just the cartoon or the TV show or whatever, my dad read us those stories. Mm-hmm. Those were our bedtime stories for my dad. And so, like, seeing Christopher Robin grown up, and he's not connecting with them anymore, and he just doesn't get it. And then the fact that they bring him back to, happiness and love and blah, whatever. I enjoyed it.
I cried.
It definitely, definitely resonates.
A boy and his bear, man. That's all. That's what I'm all about. There's a boy and his bear and his wife and his penguin now.
and their dog.
And several thousand other stuffed animals.
Yeah. Okay. Next on the list, number 6. I completely 2,000,000% disagree with the placement of this film on this list. All right, and that is the live action Mulan.
That was a different story, if we're being honest.
Now, I have a book called The Magnolia Blade, which is inspired by the poem of Mulan. Right? It was actually written by someone who is Chinese American. I interviewed her. Those recordings are available out here somewhere. I'll link to it. She was amazing. And in that story, Mulan, the Mulan character, and I can't remember the actual character's name from the book, steps in for her brother, has to wield this family sword and carry on this tradition. And Nobody knows that she exists as a woman anyway, because at this point in China, you only got one kid, and typically you want it to be a male. And she was one of a twin, right? So, and I feel like the live action movie really tied me back to that book more than to the cartoon. Plus, they took all of the songs out of it
And like,
and Mushu.
yeah, which is my favorite part of the movie. So
you didn't like it?
I like it. I don't think it's a remake. I think it's a retelling of
Yeah.
that character.
Yeah, I think it's a different story.
Yeah, it's a different story. It's not a remake. It's telling that character's story in a different way. That's all it is. More probably closer to accurate, probably,
Right.
because
If it was called something else, if it was not supposed to be, the cartoon that we all loved,
yeah.
right? I would like it more. I don't like it as a remake.
No, it's not a remake. That's the biggest problem. It's because they tried to do a remake, but it's not. It's the same character, same universe, but it's a completely different way to tell that story. Oh,
Ziggy, lights. Our lights are on a timer.
gotcha. Past
So
bedtime.
if we're not, paying attention, lights turn off at 9:30, because then we switch from the couch to the bed to watch movies.
I like it dark.
Okay. Number 5 was Cruella. This was Emma Stone, Emma Thompson, the one that just came out in 2021. And this film, this retelling, not so much, but this villain's backstory, is really interesting for me. Plus, even our niece decided to dress as Cruella for Halloween that year.
And this is once again is like it's not so much a remake because it's a prequel to a cartoon, which is interesting.
That's what you get with, I mean, not the prequel part, but the retelling from another perspective. Those are both of the Maleficent movies.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think it is a good movie. I would agree with that. I actually enjoyed it, but I think it's not a retelling or a remake. It's just a different story.
And I appreciate that it's not being looped in as part of the 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
Plus, it's done so differently than the 101 Dalmatians was.
Yeah.
Very different. Yeah.
Very different.
All right. Coming in at number 4 was the Jungle Book from 1994.
So good. Oh my God. It was so fucking good.
Now, this is the old school Jungle Book. This is not the one from 2016, which is also on the list.
Which one? Oh, this is the 1994 one?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen that one then.
It's all right.
I have seen it, but it's not one of those, wow, we have to watch this. It's kind of
I see that one. I see is more closely related to like the Rudyard Kipling Mowgli story.
Yeah. Well, and they even that particular film is even called Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book. It is based off the book, not the cartoon.
Exactly. It's a lot closer to the book, which it's a good interpretation of the book, but it's not really the same story once again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't see that one.
And they do make a point of specifying that this is a telling of the book, not a retelling of the cartoon in the 94 version.
Yeah.
Okay, so next on the list, coming in at number 3, was the Cinderella from 2015. This is where Helena Bonham Carter is the fairy godmother. Kenneth Branagh directed. And there's so many Cinderella stories.
Yeah.
And not even talking about like the different interpretations like Cinderella story or not another Cinderella story, but just the retelling of Cinderella. I did really like this one. Kate Blanchett did a really good job as the evil stepmother. I like that magic is just very different in the way they did this one. It's not a retelling of the cartoon of Cinderella. It's a retelling of the story of Cinderella. You know, at some point we'll do a ranking of the same story told 100 times: Cinderella, Snow White, those things that have all been redone.
Robin Hood.
Yes. Maybe I'll pull together a list of all of those, and I'll turn it into some kind of bracketed game for us.
The Musketeers. That one's been done a few times.
Yeah. All right. Next.
Zorro.
All right. Next, coming in at number 2 was Pete's Dragon from 2016.
I didn't see this one.
I didn't see that one either.
I have. It is done much better than the original one was, but the original one was so weird. I love Pete's Dragon. Candle on the Water is one of my favorite songs from the Disney, song library. But I really liked the way they did it. Although I will say that the dragon from the original Pete's Dragon, Elliot's just fabulous.
Elliot's fucking awesome. Although he's not Figment, which is the best Disney dragon.
Yeah, and now apparently he is getting way more. Figment is getting more recognition.
Yeah, he's getting
Mushu's the best Disney dragon.
What's that?
Mushu's the best Disney dragon.
Mushu's good. He's not Figment. I do like Mushu, but Elliot's right up there too.
All right, and then coming in at number 1, Mark agrees with this wholeheartedly, and this is the 2016 Jungle Book.
That is the correct answer.
So good.
Mother Wolf in that story felt human. If it's a wolf, I understand that.
Yeah.
But there was so much emotion to that character that it felt human. And it was beautiful.
Yeah. Jon Favreau directed this one. And really,
I did not know that.
I'm at the point now where I don't care if it's like a gum commercial. If Jon Favreau has anything to do with it, I'm going to love it.
I did not know he directed that.
Yeah.
This man is a god.
He's a fucking genius.
And I love him. And we should, Favreau for president.
Pay homage to the old cartoon. Put, Easter eggs and references. It all makes sense. That's his thing. Put Easter eggs and references to the old thing. Advance the characters enough so that you actually connect with them. And tell it from a point of view that kids can watch it, but adults will be captivated by it as well.
Oh, and Idris Elba was amazing in that.
Oh my God, he was so good.
So dark, so scary.
I was
so
I
menacing.
can't even remember who was the who played Ka. It was I can't remember, but it was one of the and I was so concerned that she had got cast as Ka. Jungle. But she was awesome.
2016.
2016.
Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, that's right. That was, yeah.
And fucking the casting was great.
Bill Murray as Baloo was amazing.
Christopher Walken as King Louis, and Bill Murray as Baloo. It was fucking brilliant, man. It was so good. I forgot how much I actually liked that movie.
Yeah, that is my favorite live action remake, actual remake of a Disney movie.
Well, according to Rotten Tomatoes, this is the best of all of them. Now, when they're saying live action remakes, we did say CGI isn't live action, but those are on the list. Also, stories that are being told that are repurposing or bringing in old characters that we knew, like the Christopher Robin film, like Maleficent, like Cruella. Those are all being included. But of all of those, Jungle Book is at the top of the list. Um, a score of 94% awesome. And, there's a lot of things happening in film. A lot of movies and books and stories that are being retold. And it's nice to see that other people agree with us that some of them just need to be left alone, and some were done really well. So none of that is relevant about what's happening in today, but I wanted to talk about Disney. So, motherfuckers, it's my show.
Excuse me.
Okay. Any news or updates coming out of your world, Frank?
Not today.
I'm gonna take that as a resounding no. Check out Tank with Knox Nostalgic Collectibles. Let him hook you up with different games, comic books, toys, what have you, for the upcoming holiday season.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be posting all of his stuff on the interwebs in some places. Tell us where, Tank.
Mostly you're going to see my sales stuff on Facebook and eBay.
So check it out, Knox Nostalgic Collectibles.
Yep.
We'll put that link in the description. Christmas is coming up. So are a plethora of other holidays. We discussed Hanukkah. We're going to have Ramadan, Kwanzaa. I mean, everything's happening.
Festivus is coming.
Festivus for the rest of us. So for your air your grievances by giving someone a comic book from Knox Nostalgic Collectibles.
There you go.
Thanksgiving is going to be here next week. The not international. It's the National Day of Gluttony. It's not like we don't have those already, but it's the gluttony capital of the world, and we're going to get gluttony next Thursday.
No, they sniff cocaine off of people's dicks on Oktoberfest. That seems pretty gluttonous.
Or, just I have nothing. Okay.
Well, cocaine also can do it for a week straight.
Follow Nerds That Know.
That took an odd turn.
Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, anywhere where there is social media. We are there as the Nerds That Know. So check us out. Follow along this weekend as we go to Santa Fe Meow Wolf.
There won't be any cocaines on dicks in Meow Wolf. Promise.
And on that lovely and beautiful note, ladies and gentlemen.
You said it first.
Yeah, I know. I hate you both. We say good night. Join us again week after next. We will not be recording the week of Thanksgiving, but we'll talk to you shortly thereafter. If you have any thoughts, comments, or topics you'd like to hear us review, send them to us in a message. We try to get back as quickly as possible. All right. I'm going to go beat up my husband now. Take care.